University in Italy, in the languages, European cultures, and communication for international organizations. She's worked for the past years on several event management institutions and companies, and she's joined IAS since 2010. Tamara, I will give you the floor. I apologize for that.
Yes. Okay, so the aim of the conference organizers is to make AIDS 2012 accessible to people from resource-limited settings and communities, researchers, young people, community activists, and civil society representatives. So to achieve the same, the international and media scholarship programs provide financial assistance to a number of people to help them attend the conference. Next slide. So the program consists of two types of scholarships. One, called Media Scholarship, is designed for media representatives from around the world working in the field of HIV and AIDS, and we plan to award around 40 media scholarships for AIDS 2012. The other type is called International Scholarship and is designed for all those people who will contribute to the conference itself through the program or by bringing the information, skills, and knowledge gained at the conference back to their communities and countries. So in details, people that contribute to the AIDS 2012 program are abstract presenters, workshop facilitators, and program activities organizers involved in the Global Village and the youth program. People that contribute to AIDS 2012 by bringing the information back to their own communities and countries are the general delegates. And we plan to award around 760 international scholarships for AIDS 2012, which makes a total of around 800 scholarships. Next slide. So the types of support that applicants can ask for are registration to the conference, which includes access to all sessions and exhibitions. Travel, that means a prepaid airfare or ground travel at the lowest fare available. Accommodation shared in dormitory rooms for the day of the conference. And a modest living allowance of $55 per day for the duration of the conference. Applicants can request all or a combination of these types of support. Next slide. So how do people apply for a media or an international scholarship? They must apply online through their conference profile. In the conference profile, people will have the possibility to either apply for a media or an international scholarship. Applications are only accepted in English, and people between the age of 16 and 18 need to keep details of an accompanying adult registered for the conference. In addition, international scholarship applicants must submit a letter of recommendation from their manager, colleague, or peer, and media scholarship applicants must provide media accreditation and supporting documentation. For your information, if applicants are also submitting an abstract, workshop, or a program activity proposal, they must link their scholarship application to that submission before the deadline. In addition, if applicants don't have the documents at the time of the application, they can save it or choose to upload the documents later, but still they need to fully complete the application before the deadline. Next slide. So as you can see in the slide, applications are open to anyone working in the field of HIV and AIDS. Most of the questions asked on both the application forms, so international and media, are related to personal details and work experience. In addition, there are also open-ended questions which ask for additional details on the applicant's organization, occupation, or involvement in the field of HIV and AIDS, motivation to attend AIDS 2012, and how the applicant's organization or community would benefit from the scholarship. Next slide. So the timeline. Application will be open from 8 December, and actually they are already open, to the 15th of February. During the month of March, the Scholarship Review Committee will review the applications, and the Scholarship Department, so myself, will notify all successful and unsuccessful applicants in April 2012. After the notification, we will start to coordinate and organize the logistics, which means booking flights, compiling the rooming list, registration, and so on. Next slide. So, as many of you probably never attended an international AIDS conference before, this slide gives you an idea, more or less, of the work undertaken by the Scholarship Department at AIDS 2010 and AIDS 2008, and the numbers related to the program. So, for example, for AIDS 2010, in Vienna, we received 11,000 applications, and we awarded 900 scholarships. As you can see, 41% of the 900 scholarships were general delegates, 29% of these 900 scholarships were abstract presenter, and so on. And there you can also see the geographical distribution, so 34% came from Africa, 15% came from Latin America and Caribbean, and so on. So these are the outcomes of the scholarship selection criteria set by the conference coordinating committee for each single conference. And for your information, the conference coordinating committee, called CCC, is the governing body that, together with scientific, community, leadership, and accountability program committees, builds the conference program. Next slide. And here, to sum up, is a list of online resources that you can refer to. So there's the conference profile that I also mentioned before, the scholarship website, where you can find the application form for your consultation, the terms and conditions, and the tutorials online created to help people applying for a scholarship, and also my contact details. Before finishing, I would like to add that the conference website is translated into Spanish too. And I would also like to remind that even if the application form will be published on the scholarship, website, we will not accept application forms sent by email, post, or fax, or any other way, but just online. Thank you.
Thank you, Tamara. Again, everyone, that was Tamara Authority from the Scholarship Programs Officer at the International AIDS Society. So she just shared some important details about how to apply officially through the International AIDS Society website. So again, these are links on, we'll be providing this PowerPoint to participants on this call after the call, so you can use this as useful information. Again, thank you, Tamara, for your presentation.
Thank you.
Next, and I apologize for this, Caroline from the International AIDS Society will be presenting. And again, just a brief introduction. She's a Congress and Exhibition Project Coordinator at the International AIDS Society. She's originally from Colombia and has lived in France for the last 10 years. She has a Master's in International Cooperation and Multilingual Communication and has joined IAS in October 2007 and has been responsible for the volunteer program since 2009. So good morning, Caroline.
Okay, so good morning, everyone. So I'm going to present the volunteer program for the AIDS 2012 conference. So we are running a volunteer program for the last 20 years that we are having the International AIDS Conference, and I'm really happy to hold that project because it's kind of the heart of the conference. So just to start with, who are the volunteers? So volunteers are, most of them are students from medical schools, pharmaceutical schools, social science, political. They are nurses. They're coming from international relations, school, languages schools, and that kind of thing. There are also a lot of retired people, Boy Scouts, are also people from communities, churches, associations, etc. We also have some general public just that they want to help out and give us a hand for the AIDS 2012 conference. The conditions to be accepted as a volunteer is that you must be at least 18 years old, and you've got to be available for 3 conference days minimum, plus you have to attend 1 day of kickoff meeting. The priority we're going to accept volunteers. The priority will be given to those who are available for more than 6 shifts during the week. This is mainly to avoid training volunteers every day on a different task. We are recruiting around 1,500 volunteers for the AIDS 2012 conference. Next slide, please. So what are the activities for the volunteers during AIDS 2012? The first activity we are having is the backpacking. So it's actually most of the volunteers take part of this activity because it's very nice, it's very friendly, and all of the volunteers are doing like a chain to pack the bags, basically. Then we have a lot of volunteers helping out at the registration area, giving out the bags and the conference material, helping out the hostesses. We also have a bunch of volunteers doing traffic flow and entrance control, guiding delegates all around the venue, telling them where are the bathrooms, telling them where is the registration, and that kind of thing. We have volunteers helping out at the media and speaker center. So basically those people are helping with translation, interpretation. So we used to put like bilingual or trilingual volunteers in that position. We have volunteers all around the exhibition area and the poster area, helping with the booths, with the exhibitors, helping out the poster presenters to put up the posters and to just look for any poster they are looking for. We have many volunteers in the session rooms and mini rooms, so those volunteers will just help out the delegates to find a seat, just making sure that everyone is seated and making sure that the session room is going well. And then we have volunteers doing general assistance. So basically those volunteers will come every day without any activities that they will be sent to any position that they can fill. And usually they can definitely have an insight of the conference because they're doing many things during the week. And finally, we have a lot of volunteers in the Global Village, same thing as the exhibition, so helping out with the booths, helping out the delegates to just find the right marketplace booth or networking zone if they're looking for something. There are 2 shifts per day, so volunteers will be allocated to 1 shift per day, either in the morning or in the afternoon. The shift can start from 6 in the morning, and it can finish at around 9 p.m. Usually they are like 7-hour shifts, a little bit less for some of those. We have a volunteer training after the kickoff meeting, so this is something that is going to be mandatory and is going to take place before the conference, probably on the Friday, 20th of July. Next slide, please. So what are the benefits for the volunteers? So basically volunteers will get free access to sessions when they are not on volunteer duty. So if, for example, a volunteer is scheduled for the morning, they will have all the afternoon to attend all the sessions they want. And even though if they are on duty and they really want to attend one session, we always accommodate a proper timing for them to attend. They will be provided with a lunch per day if they are scheduled for a shift. They will get a certificate of appreciation. They have, of course, a very nice experience within an international team and just a wonderful people taking part of that program. And they will get a nice volunteer T-shirt. Next slide. We have the structure of the volunteer program is also thanks to the supervisors' role, who they are usually 20 supervisors who are supervising basically 20 volunteers. So they are kind of the point contact of each volunteer. So the supervisor will be interviewed and selected before the conference. They will have to state it within the online application form that they would like to be supervisors. Each volunteer will be assigned to a volunteer supervisor, and of course the supervisor will be the volunteer first point contact. Their role is basic. They just need to check the volunteer's presence, control the break times and performance, and assist the volunteer if they are facing any critical issues. The volunteer supervisors will report then to myself and the volunteer management team who will be on site during the conference. Next slide, please. So how to volunteer? So we will have an online application form that will be open on 1st of April. This online application form can be only found through the website, the AIDS 2012 website. We do not accept any other application, either by fax or email. Only people can register through the online application form. We will select the volunteers in May. So basically, volunteers will know if they are accepted within the volunteer program or not. And volunteers will have the conference schedule in June. All the volunteers are requested to accept the schedule before we finalize the AIDS 2012 volunteer registration procedure. And the badge, T-shirts, and that kind of material will be given to each volunteer the day prior to the kickoff meeting. Next slide, please. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Caroline, for presenting on the kind of on the volunteer aspects of that. So again, we'll be providing this PowerPoint and information that Caroline presented on as a PDF to you after the presentation. Next, we have Ija Ude, who is from the U.S. Positive Women's Network. Ms. Ude comes to the network where she is helping to mobilize women and trans around upcoming International AIDS Conference. Before coming to the U.S. Positive Women's Network, she worked for over 13 years in New York organizations like Sister to Sister, Insight, Connect, and Generation 5. She believes social justice is connected to both our personal healing and collective liberation. So I'd like to give the floor to Ms. Ude.
Thank you. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, great. So in this presentation, I'm just going to give a quick overview of a fundraising tool that the U.S. Positive Women's Network created. And the reason we created this tool is to really, one of the key barriers that, women who are interested in participating in the conference would share with us is just, being concerned about being able to afford it and how they're going to get there. So this tool is really designed to create a framework and a strategy to really support people in creating their fundraising goals and reaching them. So next slide, thank you. At the end of this quick overview, I can't go into that much detail, so feel free to ask me questions if you want me to clarify anything. And I will be pointing you to how you could get a hold of our fundraising toolkit when it launches next week. So what I really hope is that at the end of the presentation that people on the call feel really confident about their ability to raise the money that they need to attend the conference in July. Next slide. We could just skip this because I think everyone on the call is clear about why it's important to be at the conference. And so let me just give a quick overview of what's included in the fundraising toolkit. It's an online program, and it consists of worksheets, handouts, and video. And there are 4 parts to the tutorial. The first part of the tutorial is basically preparation and getting ready for creating an online page to support you in your fundraising efforts. Part 2 walks you step by step through the fundraising tool that we identified and helps you set up your online profile. Part 3 gives you some tips on how to use social media to really broaden your reach and increase the effectiveness of your campaign. And Part 4 is full of offline fundraising ideas that you can use to raise money offline in your community. Next slide, please. So getting started, before you even think about setting up your fundraising page, a few steps to think about. So the first one is to really clarify your motivation. And this is for two reasons. One, it's going to be a journey. The money is going to come in ebbs and flows. And to just really keep your motivation up, to keep you clear about where you're going and feel confident you're going to reach your goal. It's important for you to remember, like, why it is you want to go. The second step is to actually set your goal. Like, how do you set a goal that is really going to help you, attend the conference, be there comfortably, take care of all the things you need to take care of. Once you've set your goal, how do you present that, create an appeal, whether it's by letter or video, to really share with your community and your network what it is you're trying to raise money for and why they should care. And the fourth step is, how to create images and use visuals to really, punch up your message and help it get the attention that it needs. Next slide. So I'm going to go into some more details about step one and clarifying your motivation. Next slide, please. There are a couple questions to really ask yourself and consider. And one is to really figure out, why you want to attend the conference, how it's going to impact your life personally, how it's going to impact your ability to serve your community, and how you're going to be able to share what you've learned from the conference with your community. This is information that will help you, when you're communicating, really help people understand why this issue is important and why they should care and why they should support you. Next slide. So I'm thinking about setting your goal. Next slide. In thinking about how much money you need, you have to think about travel costs, housing, transportation while you're in D.C., and any other tools or resources you're going to need on the ground. It's important to set a deadline and then use that deadline to create monthly goals and even weekly goals. And approach a fundraising like a game. Make it something manageable. Give yourself a little reward for each step you make. And think of a fun way to track your progress, whether it's with a thermometer people are used to, or whether it's kind of creating a puzzle for yourself. Like, let's say you give yourself, each week you have to raise a certain amount of money. Then, create a picture that kind of represents your reward or what you're going to get out of, or it could be a picture of DC, and then cut it into 30 different pieces, and each time you reach your goal, just go ahead and add to the collage. And so think of a fun way that you can create a graphic to keep yourself motivated. Next slide. Next slide. So the third step in crafting your appeal, there are a couple guidelines to help you really craft an appeal that will be the most effective. And the first is to really approach your appeal from the point of view of the reader, and think be able to answer the question for them of why they should contribute to your cause, why they should care, why it should matter to them. In crafting your appeal, also remember that people's decisions are primarily driven by their emotions and less by logic. So it's really important to share from your heart, use your own voice, and don't try to sound professional. Just try to sound like yourself. The next is to pick a medium that you feel most comfortable with. If you feel if you prefer shooting a video over writing, then use video. If you prefer talking, then record a message. Really think about the medium that you feel most comfortable with and craft your appeal using that. The next is to share your personal motivation, what you uncovered, going through the first step of the exercise that I share with you, and using that to really share with people and let them know why you're the right person to represent your community and how you're going to bring back what you've learned to your community. Next slide. There's some basic outlines that you can use, just like a 4-part outline, and most important is to start with why. A lot of times we kind of want to go into okay, this is what I'm doing, this is how, I need your support. And the most effective way to actually start is to start with your why. Start with why is it important to you, why is it important to your community, and then go into what you're doing and how their support is going to help you. And use really concrete examples. So, if you're planning on, I'm going to come back and I'm going to put together a meeting and have 100 people from the community come together and share what I learned from the conference, then be really specific and say that so that people have a really clear idea that you're really focused and you're really clear about, how you're going to use the information you learned in the conference to support your community and the work that you're doing there. I shared a resource that you'll be able to look at when you get the handout from this presentation. but it's a presentation from Simon Sinek, and he talks about how inspiring leaders use this very format to inspire people to take action. So it's a really great resource to point to, and hopefully will give you some inspiration as you're casting your appeal. Next slide, please. Next slide. So the last thing that you need to gather before you actually set up your online tool is to select some visuals, select some compelling images. Be sure to include a picture of yourself because, since it's online and you're going to be broadening your reach, you want to be able to have people see your face. People are, research has shown that people are more likely to give money when they see your face, they see the face of the person that they're going to be contributing to. And you can also think of what visuals and images you want to use to really illustrate the points you're making in your appeal. Next slide. The next part of the fundraising toolkit focuses on the online fundraising tool that we chose, and we really suggest that people use chipin.com. One, it's free to set up. It's an easy process to set up. It takes about 15 minutes. Unlike a lot of tools that are out there, it only costs 3%. It's a 3% fee to withdraw your money. So once people have made donations and you're withdrawing your money out, it's only a 3% fee, which is the cheapest that we found. And so that means that people donate $10 to you, then you have to give them 3 cents before you can withdraw your money. You get your own personalized fundraising page, and you can add video, you can add images, you can add audio, you can add as much text as you want. And it's also easy to share on social media platforms like Facebook and blogs and Twitter. There are 3 things that you are going to need to use this online fundraising tool. One is you're going to need a PayPal account. Again, that's free to set up, and it's something you can do in 10 minutes, and we'll include a short tutorial on how to do that will walk you through step-by-step, screenshot by screenshot, how to set up a PayPal account if you don't have one already. The next is you're going to need a bank account to transfer the money that you raise into, so you'll be able to access it. And then 3, you'll need access to a computer, at least one for 30 minutes to do the initial setup, and then at least once a week for 15 to 30 minutes to be able to go on your page, track your progress, and continue to send your fundraising page around. Next page, please. So here's a screenshot of what Chip-In looks like. Next page, please. Next slide, please. And this is a personalized page that I created, and this is what people will be directed to when they come to your Chip-In page. And you can personalize your page. You can use your name.chipin.com, so it'll be something that'll be really easy to remember and be able to send around. You can see the image on the right that has your goal and then has people be able to see how much progress you're making towards your goal. You can see I have a video on there included and some guidelines on crafting your appeal. So that if you want to check that out to just see what the experience is of, working with Chip-In and what experience your potential donators would have, you can go to my page, which is ijepwn.chipin.com to play around with that and check it out. Next slide, please. So one of the things that we really suggest is people use social media. And social media are basically interactive spaces online, like blogs, like Facebook, like Twitter, LinkedIn, that really encourage dialogue. They give you opportunities to share your ideas, share interesting resources that you're coming across, make comments, ask questions. And you also get to connect with people that have similar interests that go beyond your network. And the great thing about social media is that it allows you to move beyond your small circle and reach out to people all around the world and people that you normally wouldn't meet, face-to-face in your everyday life. So one of the tutorials is just completely dedicated to giving people tips on how to use social media to really broaden the reach of their fundraising page. Next slide, please. Now I'm going to share a couple offline fundraising strategies. And again, I'm just going to go over these really briefly, and in the toolkit we go into some more details, really give you some action steps you can take. The first one is, since we are embarking on the holiday season, is to ask for donations instead of gifts. So really make it a priority to, set up your page before the holidays and, ask people instead of giving you gifts to, contribute to your cause. Also, if you have a birthday, if you have a special anniversary coming up during your fundraising month, this is something you can do then as well. Next slide, please. Another fundraising strategy is to really tap into your special talents. So if you write poetry, then you can create like a PDF of, some of your favorite poems. If you paint, you could paint, a special picture. If you crochet, you quilt, you make jewelry. If you're a massage therapist, whatever your special talents are, think of a way that you can package them, you can sell them, you can raffle off your different offerings. And this can be another strategy and way for you to add to your fundraising goal. Next slide, please. You can also tap into other people's special talents. So if you have friends that are really gifted who are, professional masseuses again. I think I need a massage. I keep bringing that up. But, that's something that you can consider. And then you can also go to, local businesses around where you live and see if there are things that they'd be willing to donate and for you to raffle off. Next slide, please. Another is to host an event. And you could do a house party at your house, a dinner party. You could do a fashion show. You could have a bowling party with a certain theme. You could do a dance. You could have a yard sale from things that, you find as you're decluttering. You could have a specialty item sale. So, you could have a holiday sale, whether you want to sell like Christmas trees or ornaments. Or, February is coming up, so, Valentine's Day. So thinking about different ways that you can use, special events that are going on or community events to create an event and then, pick a special theme so that you may even get media attention and then be able to, raise more funds that way. Next slide, please. So our fundraising toolkit will be launching next week. And I'll be sending out an announcement once it does. So if you're not already on our Google group, I have included the link here for you to subscribe and join so that you'll be sure to get that link once the fundraising toolkit is live. And, I guess the most important thing I want to leave people with on the call is to really, be creative with your fundraising, have fun, and ask for help. Ask for help from your resource. And ask for help from people that, you don't even know, but who may be interested in what it is that you're talking about. So thank you. The next page has my contact information. Feel free to reach out to me if you have any questions about this training or want to access to our additional toolkits and resources as they come out. And that's it.
Well, thank you so much for the wonderful presentation and strategies in regards to the toolkit. So now, thank you for all three presenters. We're going to be moving to the Q&A section. It'll take the next couple minutes for that. I know there's been a couple of questions that have been already drafted in the chat. So the three presenters can unmute their lines to start 7. We appreciate that. And also for folks that want to ask a question, please press star 7 as well. You can also ask questions via the chat function as well if you're a little phone shy. Some people might be. So I know there was one question that was asked regarding how much in terms of a budget should be assessed, or at least like a budget amount should be allotted for this in terms of making sure people can attend the conference.
I think that's a really good question, and it really depends on where you are and, how you're planning on getting to the conference. If you need to fly to get there, then, then you can start looking at Travelocity or Cheapaware to see around how much it's going to cost in July. It's important to put in the dates for the conference because, ticket pricing is dependent on the season. So you can go ahead and do that. If you're thinking of carpooling, then, try to figure out, how much is gas going to cost. If you're thinking about pulling together with other people and, chartering a bus, figuring out what those costs are going to be. If you know someone in D.C., then maybe you don't have to worry about housing. If you don't, then, you can start, looking at some of the resources that they have online and figuring out, how much housing is. So, it really depends on people's circumstances and just figuring out how to think about their budget.
Great, and it is a step-by-step process about air costs versus housing versus daily budgets, in terms of expenditures and whatnot.
So we're actually going to include a budget template in the toolkit to really walk people through that so that they consider all the different line items.
Oh, wonderful. Thank you. There was another question via chat regarding during Caroline's presentation regarding the volunteer application process. Will there be given a priority for those people living with HIV or AIDS, PWAs, in terms of volunteer applications being accepted?
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, hi.
Okay, so we actually, there is no question of priority for any person. It's really according to availability. So if the person is living with HIV and AIDS, or if the person has any disabled problem even, we accept them. We are happy to have them in the team as far as they can commit for at least 3 shifts during the week. Of course, we are giving the priority for those people who can commit to more than 6 shifts at the beginning, but not all of them will commit to 6 shifts. So we're going to start accepting those people who are the most available and then going down until the 3 shifts availability.
Thank you for answering that question. Appreciate it. Now, I think those are the questions I saw in the chat. I'd be more than happy to for folks to ask questions now to our presenters here at this moment. Again, via phone, you press *7 to unmute, or via the chat function. A question from Marco Martinez. Thank you. This question is, how much is registration for the conference?
The registration for a conference, it depends actually on the season and also from the country where the delegate is coming from. We have 2 different registration, one which is for low-income countries and one which is for high-income countries. It can vary from almost 200 euros until 700 euros. You can check on the registration webpage on the AIDS 2012 website and you will get all the information about the rate.
Wonderful. And Chairperson shared there with it's about $785 before the February 23rd deadline as well. Thank you. Edgar, you asked a question about the presentations being sent to all attendees. Yes. We'll kind of go into that in the next couple of minutes in terms of getting a copy of that. But I still wanted to give folks opportunities to ask questions. Again, any additional questions people might want to ask about our presenters in terms of the toolkit, volunteer, and application process. And now you should be getting kind of the list of the in U.S. dollars of the cost by date on your chat box right now. Thank you, Francisco.
Mm-hmm.
Any more questions? Great. If not, then I want to thank our presenters for giving some useful and very insightful information. Let me see if there's any additional questions that might come up from the chat function right now. So give me a second while I scroll through the list. And presenters, do you want to share any additional information at this point in terms of what you shared right now?
Hello?
Yes, hi.
Hi, I was just curious, are there going to be, I don't work for an organization, but I do work, volunteer as a planning council member, and I'm chair of a committee. So would that qualify as a general attendee?
General delegate?
A delegate, I'm sorry?
So the question, you work for the county, and you'd like to see if that would specify as a general attendee application.
Yeah.
You have a newsletter
For the scholarship?
Yes.
Oh, you did identify yourself.
So
I'm Ronnie Castillo.
From Sacramento Ryan White Program, TGA.
I'm from the Sacramento Ryan White TGA.
Okay. So sorry if I ask you, but are you volunteering and sharing this?
I'm HIV positive.
Involved in the HIV and AIDS field?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So you are eligible.
Okay, great. Okay. And on the other question I put up was also, are there people willing to put up volunteers?
Put up volunteers? Oh, yeah. Maybe a network of that on the Google chat.
I mean, that might be another way of for a nominal fee. For putting down the cost, or maybe a nominal fee. Someone will,
maybe on the chat.
Rent out a room or something. I don't know.
Also, in terms of like lodging one, I think there are available websites that can be shared in terms of lodging. I know that happened during the presidential inauguration, where people were offering hostels and other living arrangements or lodging arrangements during that because of costs. But we can definitely look into that and share that with folks.
Okay, great.
That'll be also available under IAS as well in terms of opportunities for lodging. So
okay.
Thank you for the questions.
Thank you.
But again, there's different opportunities. So again, to reiterate the presentations, there's the general application, the volunteer application as well. So people should take advantage of that. And then the toolkit in terms of helping people budget and also save money. And there were different strategies the presenter shared as well. So
right.
This will be available in terms of as a tool for you to use after the presentation.
Okay.
Thank you for the questions.
Thank you.
Okay, there was a question directed to Tamara. Will transportation be available as part of the scholarship?
Okay, so as far as concerned now, no, it is not included, but we are still investigating some opportunities.
Great. Wonderful. In terms of, there was a specific question that was asked previously. The question is, I work for the State Department of Education, and the budget is zeroed for travel. Is there funding for those of us who would work the conference? Is the question that was asked.
So honestly, this is, if I can say, a bit of a tricky question, because I don't really understand how do they would work the conference. But in any case, as soon as, for what concerns scholarships application, let's say to be eligible, the important thing is to be related to the HIV and AIDS field. Then people can be journalists, people can come from non-NGO, from government, for private sector, for a lot of institution affiliations, organization, and entities, but still they need to be related, obviously, to the HIV and AIDS field.
And that's important to kind of emphasize that, as it is focused on that for the conference.
Yes.
Thank you. Okay, so I'm going to see if there are any additional questions people might ask in terms of budget. I know there's a lot of information to digest, but I think it's a great start in terms of thinking right now in December. And I'd like Aegis kind of recommendation that for those that are thinking about asking for money, that's a great way to start asking for donations instead of gifts for the holiday season. So think of that as a kind of potential strategy. Wonderful. Okay, well, thank you. Again, we have shared the contact information for the presenters. If you have any questions, you could definitely ask them. And also look at the website, most importantly, to get any additional information in terms of the application process and deadlines. In terms of the next steps, we wanted to kind of share with you some of the work Francisco and I are doing, working with IAS and the Office of AIDS Research. This is an additional tool that there is an online abstract mentoring program called Community Abstract Mentoring Program, called CAMP. And the goal of that online website is to encourage researchers within the communities of color here in the United States to submit high-quality abstracts for the upcoming AIDS 2012 conference. So there's been a very rigorous selection process for that, and their CAT mentors, who are the ones who are going to be reviewing these abstracts that you can submit online, are essentially community leaders and content experts who, again, went through a very rigorous process and were trained quite well by International AIDS Society staff. Now, again, this CAMP program is independent from the AIDS 2012 abstract review and selection process. They have their own program on their website, so this is different. This is more focused for domestic folks working in the HIV/AIDS research field. And we want to kind of show you that this is free, so please take advantage of this. And the website itself became live starting on December 1st. It's already been over a week, and it will be available through February 1st of 2012. And so the website is www.abstractassistance.org. So please take advantage of that. It's a free resource, and we really want to ensure that folks from across the country, especially those working for communities of color, take advantage of that. In addition to that, these webinar series is the second one out of a series that will be held through July of 2012. It's just increase the knowledge for folks to encourage their participation in the conference. So, again, if you have any further information, you have a website, the email here, inland411@gmail.com for information. We can send you a copy of the PDF with the scheduled dates for the webinar series. The next one for 2012 will be held on January 12th, and the subject for that one will be how to write a successful abstract. And so actually here, the next slide kind of gives you the dates and times for that. Again, once this presentation is over, we'll be sending you a link with an evaluation. Please fill out the evaluation form where we value that. We want to kind of get an assessment of the content and information we shared with you in this presentation. And once you get that, you'll be sent a PDF copy of the presentation itself. So it's just a little carrot and stick. If you fill out the evaluation, you'll get a copy of the PowerPoint. So essentially that. This is further information in terms of kind of the abstracts in terms of AIDS 2012. So we're just simply in terms of promotion, give us your information. And if there are any questions, we appreciate you being on this call. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. Please stand by.